ready? Yes.
Maya? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh my God, you made it. It's another episode of We Did That Shit.
I'm Maya.
And I'm Bibbi.
Hey.
What's up, Maya?
The weekends go by so fast. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, well, for me, it's so, it is what it is because I'm super busy at work and I'm super busy with schoolwork and I really feel like I don't have a life. So it's like, how was your day? What you doing this weekend? I got nothing. But that's okay because daylight savings is this weekend, so we're going to get more hours of daylight. And you know how hype I get for springtime. I love spring. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. Yeah, so I got
I'm excited
more. I got
spring
a week
too.
Yes, spring is my new year. I don't do the whole New Year's resolutions and things like that, but when the spring comes, that's what I was about to say. I have about 10 more days to kill off everything that's lame in my life. I just kill it because I can't bring nothing lame into my spring. Spring is it's just a time of new life and fresh starts and great things, and so anything that's lame, I just kill it off.
It's out of there.
It's out of there. The winter's over. You didn't make it. Bye. I don't prune nothing. Just up. All right, sorry, you ain't make it.
Right.
And so so the things that are growing can blossom. Exactly. And the things that are growing, they could just keep on blossoming in the spring. I love spring. It's my favorite season. And I really must have the season affecto disorder or something, because in that fall and winter I just feel like ugh, except for my birthday season. But when spring comes, I just get energy from nowhere. I just be like, swoop.
Well, let me tell you something. If I never thought I liked spring, you sure sold me on it. Listening to you, I'm like, maybe I need to. It's like, spring cleaning. It's, you made me hype for spring. Well, not that we want to do the spring cleaning, but wait a minute. This is our 11th episode. I waited all of this time to say, how are you doing, before we even get started, how are you doing with keeping your room clean? It's been weeks since we talked about you in your room. So just briefly, are you keeping your room clean? Now that we're talking about spring cleaning?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm going
to come over so I can see. That was a little hesitation. That was like I feel like I should lie, but maybe I should kind of tell the truth. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
That's how I feel. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Could it be better? Yes, it could be better. But it's nowhere near the chaos that it was. I don't have, it's good. As I stare here looking at my Botswana bag. But anyway, so no, it's good. It's nowhere near what it used to be. I have been doing, rather well. And then sometimes I'll take a study break and just start putting stuff away just because I want to keep it like that. It keeps my mind clear. I can't do homework when my room is in a disarray because I can't think clear. So I've been doing good. Thanks. And before spring, it's going to be like everything because I can't have no dead stuff in my spring.
Okay. Well, good. Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, me too. I'm a little proud of myself. So I had some plans this weekend that kind of fell through. Not real happy about that. But,
Why?
such is life. I don't know what happened. My BFF's birthday is this weekend, and we had a whole New York City weekend thing planned, and I think something went awry with I don't know what happened. It could have been a storm or anything. I called her earlier, but we'll see. I just got a text message saying we're not going, so maybe we'll just go out on Sunday. I don't know. I was kind of looking forward. I love the city. It's fun.
Right.
but that's okay. I got homework to do anyway. So what's up with you?
Well,
Are you in your new place?
To go to New York. Let's plan a trip to go to New York soon to eat.
You know good well I'm down for that. And see
okay.
Absolutely. And let's
All
take
right.
the train.
Yeah. Well, we are.
The train. Okay.
We're not driving, that's for sure. But yeah, we're in the new place now. You know, this was our first full week in the place, and you know, let me say this, it's better than I thought it would be. Not the building or anything like that, but even just the transition. I was like, they didn't leave any room for any kind of error. They have no contingency plan, nothing. But surprisingly, when we got there, everything was up and running as far as all systems was concerned. And it was like a smooth thing, you know, unpacking and all that. But everything else was like smooth sailing. I've been busy with that and busy at work. And you know how I feel about being busy at work. Like, I don't like being busy at work. And I like for my job to be easygoing. You know, like, I'm busy in my life. So when I go to work, and this sounds so ass backwards, but it's the truth. When I go to work, I like it to be, you know, just relaxed.
Calm.
I do my work calm. It's, you know, because then when I come home, my home is calm too, but I'm always doing something. You know how we both are. We're always doing something. So I like work to just be a little bit more calm. But I've been actually busy, and it could have something to do with the transition. I don't know. It's been okay, but, you know, we'll make it through. So,
well, Maya, tell the people what they want to hear. Are you getting to work on time?
Listen. Everything is a process. Nothing happens overnight. Remember that, people. Nothing happens overnight. So let me tell you, I'm getting there earlier than I was getting there at the old building. I have yet to be on time, but I'm getting better because I'm earlier than I was. So, I mean,
you know why you're earlier? Because you're leaving at the same time, the same late time that you used to leave, but now you just don't have as far to go.
That's true. Listen, everything is a work in progress. I will repeat that. So next week, check with me. I said to myself, because you know I'll be talking to myself. So I said, next week is your week. Next week is the week that you will be on time. And then, it's daylight savings time. So that means we lose hours sleep or we gain hours sleep?
We lose an hour.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, listen. Next week is my week. I'm going to be with my going into spring like you're going into spring, and I'm going to be on time. Okay?
Okay. All right. So how long does it take you to get there?
Oh, it takes me not even like 10 minutes.
Oh, my mercy.
It's close.
Okay. Oh, that's real good, though. That's what's up. 10 minutes is nice. Okay. Okay.
Don't judge me.
I'm not judging. I'm not judging. Oh, my goodness. Okay. We're going to pray. 10 minutes ain't long.
Keep me in prayer.
That's right. Okay. So what are we talking about this week?
This week, we are going to talk about hair, Black women's hair. Our topic for this week is I am not my hair.
Oh, I am not my hair. That's the only line I know. Okay. All right. But I'm not my hair. It goes. I do know that line. But yeah, okay, that's right. I am not my hair. You're absolutely right. Hair is an accessory. Okay, so before we get into that, who did some shit? I'm first. Who did some shit? Because you're not even going to believe this. You're not, and I'm feeling some kind of way because, I like to say positive things, but this thing just shocked me. I just stood there with my mouth open like, what? So, and I mean, maybe this is regular, but this is regular for people. Like, I don't know. I never heard of this ever in my life. And, you know, we're from Camden. We definitely don't do this in Camden, but I was just like flabbergasted. Okay. So, you know, yesterday we had the winter storm Quinn. Shout out to my cousin Quinn, naming storms after her and everything. So anyway, so we had the winter storm Quinn, and of course my job acts like, you know, patients is just going to weather the storm and make it to their doctor's appointments at 5:00. They don't be wanting to close the office and carrying on. So
don't you hate jobs like that?
Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. But you know, I had 4-wheel drive, so I really wasn't, you know, but this was like the heavy heart attack snow. It was wet and heavy and thick, and it was really coming down like 3 inches an hour or whatever. So we have this new medical assistant in the office, nice girl, whatever. You know, she's like a middle-aged woman or whatever, and she, you know, and I think this was like her first week there or whatever, and I remember when she came, you know, I was like, oh, hi, welcome, blah, 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 you know, and I don't know. She lives down the shore, I know. So it takes her a while to get to work because she lives like down the shore area. And so when I was leaving, she was in the vestibule waiting. And I was like, I said, are you okay? Are you waiting for a ride? You know, because I knew she lived like far and maybe her husband was coming to pick her up or something. I don't know. And she was like, oh, no, I'm not going home in this. You know, my mother lives here in Voorhees, and I just called the police to come pick me up. What? Exactly.
Wait. Exactly. Wait, say it again. This is a middle-aged woman?
Yeah.
Not a kid. You know, not like a young, like 20.
No.
Okay.
No.
A middle-aged woman.
She has to be in her 40s. She has to be in her 40s, maybe early 50s. I don't know. But she said.
Okay, and she said what?
She says, oh no, I'm not driving in this. This is too much for me. My mom, because I work in Voorhees, and she was like, no, my mom lives here in Voorhees, and I just called the police to come pick me up.
She was white.
Of course. I didn't know what. I just, what?
Who calls the police for anything other than, first of all,
the police
this is your second week telling me that somebody called the police for something. Last week it was a girl called the police because the babies couldn't eat. Yeah. Okay, and that was a nice thing. But now this woman is calling the police to come pick her. I didn't know that the police came to pick you up when it was snowing.
Okay, that's point number 2. Then she said, they said there are about 10 people in front of me.
Oh, this is a thing.
Literally. And all I kept thinking was, if I call Camden police
and said, hey, I'm at 277 Federal Street. Can you come pick me up? Because I can't drive in the snow, and drop me off at my mom's house.
Can you take me to Temple? Because I
what
just
do you think that they would say?
Stromboli. I mean, what? I just was like, I was just looking like.
So they calling the cops like they calling a taxi.
Right.
So they calling the cops like they calling the Uber.
She was dead serious, and she said it was 10 people in front of her.
Right. So everybody got this memo but us.
Right.
And every last one of them must be white because nobody's black. I don't care how you grew up and where you grew up. And like you said, especially us growing up in Camden, you know we ain't calling the police for nothing unless we absolutely have to. And it's so funny, speaking of something like that, too, because now that I live in the neighborhood that I live in, like when I lived in the hood, I always was like, I ain't calling the cops for, like, what I'm calling cops for? Call the cops and if it's something serious. Now, I live out here, I'm like, well, I don't know what they doing. Call the cops. Call the cops, tell them come over here. This is not, I don't know what's going on. Call the cops. This ain't looking, and I'm always like, I don't know what they do. I'll call the cops. Oh, now you a cop.
Now you call the cops. Right.
Now you calling the cops. And how I feel about the cops. I don't even like the cops. So it's like, it's always funny to me because I sit back and I think about it like, you'll really call the cops. My neighbor knocked on my door. My neighbor knocked on my door the other day. She's telling me about this man who was knocking on her door between 4 and 4:45 in the morning. And this is also the neighbor who I think is a nut, right? I don't want to call her a nut. I don't want to call anybody a nut. But this neighbor, I think something is going on with her because she's also the same neighbor that when I knocked on her door to tell her to turn her water off because I had a plumber in here, she was, I know she saw me, and she was like standing with her back toward the wall looking out the window to see if I saw her. So this is the same neighbor. But she came down and she started telling me about this man that was sitting out that she told me this whole elaborate thing, and it turned out about a man that was outside of her door and mumbling like, I never do something like this, I never do something like this, right? So then she tells me, after she tells me this whole story, she tells me that she called the non-emergency number, right? So I'm like, what's the non-emergency number? So she's like, the place where you can call if it's not, because no crime was committed, So I'm thinking in my head, like, do we have a non-emergency number in Camden? Do you know if we do?
We do.
Well, apparently all counties have counties and cities and everything. They all have a non-emergency number. Who knew? I would have never known this. Like, I would have never known this if this lady didn't tell me, right? So then she's like, and I just wanted to let you know, because I'm letting everybody in the building know that I had to file this police report. So I submitted the police report online. So I'm thinking, like, you could submit a police report online? Who knows this stuff? I did not know.
Oh, they high tech.
You know what I mean? Like, who is submitting a police report online?
Hey, who would
have thought the same people who coming to pick her up, tenth in line to come pick her up from the snow.
And I mean, look at it this way: you only work 10 minutes away. Maybe the police can come take you. I don't know. They come take you. I'm
gonna tell you what. I'm utilizing that. The next time it's a storm around here, I'm gonna call the cops. Like, excuse me, I need you to come pick me up because I can't drive in this thick, heavy snow. Thank you. Oh, I'm number 21. Okay, I'll be waiting. I'm at 555 Kane Road. Thank you. Thanks.
And when I was looking at her, like, she was looking at me like, what? And I was just like, what? Like, so apparently, that's a thing in the suburbs. I don't know. But I know. First of all, I know better than to call Camden cops. It says,
right?
Can I get a ride to the river line? I mean,
and if you do, if you ever test it out, or you know someone that does test it out, please give me a report on what they said, because that's going to be the joke of the century, honey.
That was fun. So what's your who did some shit?
So this week I wanted to talk about, for my who did some shit. Iyala Fix My Life came back on. And, we always watch the show. I feel like TV has got so much interest in now that Twitter is around, right? So we watch the shows, we tweet about the shows, and Fix My Life came back on. And this week, for the opening show, they had a young girl on the show. Her name was Kamaya. I don't know her last name, but she was kidnapped in 1998 at the hospital, and she was raised by this woman, her mother, this woman who kidnapped her and raised her. And she found out that this had occurred when she was trying to get her first job, and, she needed a birth certificate and Social Security card, and the mother couldn't produce it. Well, she went by Alexis all of her life. So now the mother is in jail, and her birth parents have, come into her life. Her birth mother wrote Fix My Life because she said that they needed help, and then the birth mother didn't even show up to the show. The birth mother and the birth father was there, but the birth mother doesn't want her to have anything to do with the woman who raised her. you know. And the birth father said that he wants to have a relationship with her as well, but he doesn't want her to have a relationship with this woman who raised her. And so I just wanted to talk. You saw it, right?
I did.
Okay, so I just wanted to talk about it with you because I just thought that it was an interesting show. This was the first time I think so, in the history of the show being on, that they did not get to fix her life, so to speak, you know.
Right, or to close the issue, right.
Right, or close the issue. It abruptly ended, you know, and it ended with them, with the girl, like, going off on Iyanla, and Iyanla just left it alone because, like she said, sometimes you have to leave people where they are, you know. And so I just wanted to talk to you about it. What was your thoughts on it? Because I had plenty of thoughts on it, on the just on the situation in general. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts.
Well, you know, my thoughts are, you know, this hit home for me because, you know, parental deception is it's a hurtful thing. And I saw a lot of the tweets, you know, everybody has their opinion, like, oh, Iyanla pushed her too far. Oh, how could she still like that lady? Oh, how could she? But it really is a process. And unfortunately for this young girl, she's still young. Like at 19, you're still young. You're still very dependent on your parents a lot of times at 19. You know what I mean?
Right.
So she's technically still a kid, and then to have her whole childhood snatched because everything that happened kind of like, you don't even know how much it meant, or like, was it real? Like my whole life was a lie. So she's not even 19 now. She's still like, she just warped into like the baby. Like, what happened? You know what I mean? So, and Iyanla did say, I'm either going to have to make her very, very angry, or, you know, she had to get angry or something else. She said it was one of the two things. And she went with the anger route or whatever to see if she had, and I don't think she did it to hurt her. I think she did it to see if she really had feelings about it. And she was trying to act like she didn't have feelings.
Right, exactly. She kept saying she doesn't feel anything about it. When she said, how do you feel about the situation? She was like, I don't feel. She was like, how do you feel about your birth mother? She was like, I don't. How do you feel about this? And she just was like, I don't. You know, I don't even think about it. It's just like, I'm just living my life. But you can't just be living your life when something devastating like that happens. You know,
you have
like
to
you
keep
said,
living. You have to just be living your life because you don't have anything else. You have no other choice. You know, and and you do try not to think about it because when you think about it, you know, hurt comes, and then you can't live. Like there's certain things that I think, like, I'm kind of happy for this girl. Like I'm very happy that this girl does not have children yet. You know, because that would just add to the dynamic. You know, I'm happy that even though the dad coddles her or whatever, he still is treating her like, that's my baby. I don't care what she wants. I don't want to lose her again. I'm going to be there. And I appreciate that about the dad. I really do. Even though this girl, you know, but and this is going to be a process. It's not going to happen. When I talk about not just over, like there's still effects 20 years later. You know, there are effects like this. Parental deception is traumatizing. And I remember, like, when I first started hearing about stuff going on, you know, about myself, I'm like, what y'all talking about? Young and the Restless? You know what I mean? Like, cause this just don't happen to people in real life. This is some soap opera stuff. You know what I mean? And you do have all of these feelings, and then you pick who you're going to be angry with, and then, you know, hope, you know, as time goes on and you learn, well, you're going to be angry. Why are you going to be angry at this one and, not that one? And then how are you going to be angry at that one and not that one? And, because the truth is that, but in this girl's case, she was snatched. And you know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was a coup, just only that one parent was deceptive to her. But the biological parents, I don't know. I think that when they talked about, reuniting her and things like that, maybe they should have had some counseling beforehand to help them understand what kind of state that this child would be in.
Right.
Because you can't say that that's not.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's unrealistic for them to think that this child is not going to have some feelings for this other parent, whether she committed a crime and snatched her or not. That was her mom.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just think it's unrealistic.
Right, and at the end of the day, it definitely is unrealistic. First of all, she doesn't know you. Whether you are her birth parents or not, she doesn't know you. She knows this woman as her mother. That was her mother. She didn't have a bad childhood. It wasn't like she was getting abused. It wasn't like anything was happening to her. She grew up in a loving home. Now, was the mother wrong? Of course she was wrong because she kidnapped her, but she still loved her. And so for you to come into someone's life, whether you are her birth parents or not, and tell her, I don't want you to have anything to do with this woman. I don't want you to have any feelings toward this woman. I want it to be all about me. That's selfish on the birth parents. It's selfish on them because she doesn't know you. She doesn't know anything but the life that she lives. She only knows her life as Alexis. She's probably going through so much confusion. She's only 19. She just found out when she was 18. Now her mother, who she knew all her life, is in prison. She has to deal with the fact that was a lie, that her mother is not her mother. She has to deal with the fact that, like you said, her whole childhood was a lie. Then she has to deal with the fact that her mother is in jail. Then she has to deal with the fact that this other family has come into her life. How do you feel? Because essentially they're strangers. They are strangers to her. So how do you even want her to feel? And I was so upset that the end of the show happened the way that it happened, and she wasn't able to meet the young lady who had experienced the same thing, Carlita White.
Yes.
Because she was able to get through, or still dealing with the effects, but getting through. This girl is just Kamaya Alexis. She's just at the tip. She hasn't even begun to break down what is going to happen to her, or the feelings or the emotions, the state that she's going to be in. At least with Carlita, she was able to really resonate with this girl because she's been there. It's not like Iyala talking to her where she's like, I can understand what you're going through. No, this girl knows what you're going through. She has lived this same life, snatched at birth, raised by someone, went to go get a job, tried to get a birth certificate or a Social Security card, and then had to find out the hard way that she was not who she was all her life. And so I was really upset that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think that sometimes you think that, if they would have did it that way, because I think if she would have met her before she broke her, that would have been better. Because I really think she could have really benefited from that. And Carlina is like in 30 now, 30, 31 or something like that. So she's been going through it for a little while longer. And I just want to say this, like as a little sidebar. These people that be snatching people at birth, like clearly they not in their right mind, because what do they think? Like Carlina wanted to get a driver's license or something, and the other girl wanted to get a job. Like clearly y'all did not think this through. Like what did you think was going to happen when these kids grew up and wanted to have lives? Was they just going to live with you and raise the baby forever? Yeah. So,
but I think that once you, like if you snatch a child and raise this child, I don't think that you even think that far. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think that you think of, like, you're just going through the motions of life. just like every day. You're not thinking ahead. You can't be thinking ahead when you kidnap somebody. Like, literally, I mean, what is the thought process that's going in your mind? You wanted to have a baby so bad that you took somebody else's baby. You can't. So they ain't thinking about the future. Is my point. You know, it's not about whether you think. Yeah, you're not thinking about the future. You really ain't thinking about nothing. You're just thinking about your own selfish needs. I'm getting, and this is what it is. And I felt like the birth parents, especially the birth mother, because I'm not even going to go in so much on the father, because the father did show up, and the father is trying to still be a father in this girl's life. But for the mother, for when she said that the mom gets mad, that she posts her mother on Facebook, and then she stops talking to her, the fact that you wrote in and that you didn't even show up shows the kind of selfish person that you are. You are hurt, but how do you think that your child feels? Your child is now, first of all, she already was taken away from you, right? And then now she comes back into your life, and you're essentially taking yourself away from her. So she just is feeling all kinds of the abandonment issues.
Exactly. It's like a double. It's like a double hit for her, because she feels the snatch doesn't feel. It's like, you deceived me, you lied, and now you rejected me. Right. It's hard. Right. It's too much. I don't know. It's a lot, because when you have, as a child, you look to your parents, you know, for everything. And that's why I'm saying, I don't know what happened, but I really feel like that her biological parents should have gotten some kind of counseling, some kind of help. Like, when they found that girl and they knew that they were going to be, you know, reunited, like, that's when the stuff should have been in the works, because before they even met her. Because somebody has to prepare them for, you know, how this baby may be feeling, or just the reality of things, you know. But it's very hard. It's hard to call it, because in essence, they're all victims. You know, they're all victims. But when you play up your victim card, like, when you play up your victim card, like, that's kind of how the birth mother is. And she's a victim, but she's playing up her victim card. Like, that's all that matters to her, is that she was a victim. Right. And she's not being fair. Right. And she's just not being fair, or just allowing the process of just get to know your baby for who she is. And because the fact is, you know, whoever she is by nature, you can find those things. Like, I learned a lot of who I was by nature later. You know what I mean? But who she is by nurture, you know, it's not your nurture. But you still have to love her for who she is. Exactly. So I don't know. I think, and I don't know. I kind of think it should have been reversed. Like, if somebody wasn't going to show up, it may have been better for the girl not to show up instead of not the mom to show up. Because it seems like the mom has more of the issue. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, she obviously has more of the issue. And then the fact that you were the one who initiated it. You were the one who wrote into the show. You were the one who realized that you needed help, and that you thought that Iyanla could help you. And so you were the one who thought, okay, this was a good idea. And then you don't show up, and you don't show up because you're angry at your daughter. This is when Iyanla said, I'm thinking, because, see, when the show first came on, I thought that this was the Carlita White. I did not know that this was a different person. So I had missed the first maybe like 2 minutes when she does the explaining of who the person is. And so when I came into the show, when I finally realized, oh, shoot, the show is on, I was like, oh, this is the girl who I watched the movie with Keke Palmer, and, you know. Right. But realizing in like the first 7 minutes, oh, no, this is another girl. Then Iyanla said, you've only known him for 10 months, talking about her father. So I'm thinking, like, this is fresh. Like,
You just met your daddy and your mommy yesterday, and then you're going on Iala tomorrow. That's crazy, and for the mother, like you said, she's playing up her victim card. She's selfish. Point blank, period. She's selfish. The fact that you didn't show up for this girl, I can't even look and say, you know what, yeah, she's hurting, this, that, and the third. It doesn't matter how hurt you are. You can't be more, I'm not saying that you can't be more hurt than your child is, but as a parent, you put your children first. So regardless of how
still
hurt
a
you
mother.
were,
Exactly.
Right. Whether you raised her or whether she was snatched from you or whatever, you are still her mother. You are the person who birthed this child. You obviously never gave up hope that you would one day find your child, and then you don't show up. Like, where do you think that this child is going to go from here? Where do you think the child is going to go from here when you essentially abandon her too?
And how many times does this child have to be
Facebook and this, that, and the third? Come on.
Exactly.
Who does that?
And how many times is this child going to be rejected because that's what it feels like.
Right.
It feels
that's
like
what it is.
And that's what it. Well, at the first time, it's not rejection because the parents didn't have a choice. It's not rejection the first time because they didn't have a choice. She was snatched. But what you do after, and that's why I'm saying I think the show should have been for the mom. And if the mom didn't come, the baby certainly shouldn't have come by herself because it's certainly something she couldn't handle alone, and she wasn't ready. And just
at
like
all. It was
Carlina, 10 months is too fresh, and she has to be as much familiarity as possible. And that's why I say, because when I was learning, my whole situation, whatever, I had children. You know what I mean? And I'm like, how? And then you start to remember all this stuff, like stuff that when you were a kid, and how you felt about this, and how you felt about that, and how you felt about this person, and about going here and there, and then you're like, so it's, I really didn't have time to, I didn't have time to process stuff the way things really should have been processed or whatever, and so I think maybe that was one reason why it took so long. And then there are still things that I do. I do them. I'm aware that I do it, but I can't stop.
Like?
Like.
I mean, did you want to give an example? You said it's still some things that I do that I'm not aware that I do.
I'm aware. I'm aware. I'm very aware.
I'm sorry.
I'm very aware that I do it. Like, shut up, Maya. I know what you're getting at. Oh, I got your number.
First of all, it's the conversation of the podcast. So, I mean, here's the thing. You're not going to sit and talk about your whole situation. You don't have to lay out your whole situation. I mean, your situation doesn't mirror this child in the sense of you were kidnapped, but it mirrors the child in the sense of not knowing your parent.
Deception.
And then your
parent,
it was a deception. The deception, and then your parent coming back into your life like, hey, here I am. So you don't have to lay out the whole thing, but you said that you do things that you're aware of, and I'm like, okay, like what? Did you want to give an example? You don't have to.
I know I don't have to, but I like now everybody like, yeah, that's what you talk about it.
Yeah, what?
but like, so let's just say relationships, and I'm talking any kind of relationship.
Right.
I don't care. Just like how I don't have friends. Like I don't do the friend thing because it's a matter like, oh, you ain't going to be around. If you're around, okay. If you're not, okay. You know what I mean? Like I don't have, like I have my family, but I just don't have a lot of, I don't have a lot of friendships. And how I don't, I don't have to talk to you like forever. Not like, and then when I talk to you, it's like, oh, hey.
Right.
how you doing? Oh, hey, that's good to see you. Look good. And I'm genuine about it or whatever, but I just don't, I don't really have, that kind of stuff. So sometimes when I say that, like, oh man, my phone is dry as hell, like, you know what I mean? But I'm not very, it's just, I don't know what it is. I just, like, everything is so temporary. And I kind of look at everything in the beginning like it's a deception. Everything. Like when I first, shut up. That's why I knew you was, you know what? You ain't going to Dr. Phil me. That's Carlina White and Alexis Micaiah, whatever, like, no. But, I mean, it does, it's a process is all I'm saying. And I really don't think the baby should have been there. She certainly shouldn't have been there alone. And
no.
it's very fresh. And I think that, it may have been, she let her leave or whatever, but that's something that the dad and his wife could have came back and benefited from.
Right.
You know what I mean? She could have came back, and he could have benefited from that because
he needed it because he doesn't seem like his elevator went too far.
He don't know what
to the top.
Well, it's not that. It's not that. He just doesn't know what to do.
I don't think that he does know what to do, but I'm just saying he gave me my elevator don't go too far to the top tease a little bit, just a little bit. But I also think that he's confused and he's scared and he's vulnerable. All of those things, it's like, you don't have a child all your life. I don't have children, and then somebody puts an 18-year-old child in front of me and says, raise this, you know what I'm saying? Raise this person. After this person has already been raised, I don't know what to do with this child. You know what I'm saying? I'm not equipped. I'm not we haven't built a bond, anything. So it's the same thing.
That's not where he's coming from. Is this?
You didn't let me finish, but I'll let you finish. Go ahead. No. You go ahead. Since you know what I mean, go ahead.
He doesn't. It's not about the raising anymore. I think his whole thing is, that's my baby. I got her back. And I don't care what. I don't want to let her go. Like, I don't care what she wants. I don't care what she does. I don't care where she is. And which is not really healthy for her, because
right.
it puts it in but it's not the raising. It's just that he's afraid of ever losing her again. And he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't.
Well, that
he
was
doesn't
my
know
point.
how to.
He doesn't know what to do, and it's not. And my point wasn't about him raising her. My point is about what you said. He doesn't know what to do, and he's going to be. It's a shame to say, but he's going to be bad for her in the sense of, good for her in the sense of your father came back into your life, but bad for her in the sense of he's going to enable anything that she wants to do. And, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like you said, because he doesn't want to lose her, so he's going to let her do and give you, and you saw that on the show, because when she went off and when she said out of her mouth, if he doesn't come back and pick me up, we're going to have problems. Why would he leave me? He knows better than that. And when he came back and she was going all off, calling Yala every little bitch in the world, she was saying the same thing to him. How dare you? Why would you do that? You left me. You just was going to leave me here. Because at first, when I first watched it, before I sat back and I analyzed it, I was like, what the hell is she getting so hyped for? Because Yala did give her she said, you can leave or you can stay if you want to, but they're not going to answer your calls. So while you're watching the show, while you're in the show, you're just like, is she going all off? She going crazy for what? But when I sat back and I thought about it, I'm like, no, she doesn't want to be left again.
And choices, right? She was snatched. She was snatched, and she feels like she needs her control back. Like, they're going to take me. Yeah, exactly. And her going off, even though I thought it was totally inappropriate, it was an immaturity thing. And even if you're immature and you go off, you learn that kind of behavior somewhere, honey. All that foul language or whatever, because that was just a little bit, and Yala is better than me, because you ain't going to be calling me.
She's surely better than me. She's surely better than me. When she told her, because for a minute there, I thought, like, is this girl going to punch Yala? She was on the verge of damn near getting ready to punch her in the face. And I was like, if she punch her, that's it. This is the number one rated show. Mm-hmm. If she punch her, that's it. But no, she has experienced that before. You know, she's went off like that before. That's not I woke up this morning and I knew how to put curse word combinations together and tell a person that I was going to punch them in their face and drop them. No, that's definitely not that. Because you don't learn that overnight. Right. That ain't something you learn overnight. That's a practice thing. All the combinations I know. Mm-hmm.
That was more combinations than Sugar Ray. Yeah, she was putting that together.
But I mean, I just thought that the show was I just thought that the show, hey, opened up with a bang, and I would be interested to see not her back on Iala's show, but I would be interested in even like a follow-up. You know how you get those shows and then they give announcements at the end, or they put up on the screen like, oh, this is what's going on with her now. Did she ever get to meet Carlina, excuse me. I would really want to know, you know, what's going on with this girl, because that pain and that hurt and that, you know, like you said, it's going to be something she's going to deal with for a long time. But, you know, 10 months out, I will be interested to see what the next 10 months look like for her. I thought that was just a little too, you know, I thought that they were further out than 10 months. 10 months was like, they shouldn't have even agreed to do that show with her. I don't even think they should have agreed to do that show. That was a lot.
They didn't. It was the mom. It was the mom who originally, so for the mom, I can see it.
Of course. But I'm just saying the producers had to say, they had to okay it. You know what I'm saying? They had to think that it was a good idea. And
to do it without the mom?
Right. Or just to do it, period. What I'm saying is this. If a situation was brought to you and it was like, hey, this child needs help, this is the situation, I probably would have looked at that and said, I don't think I'm going to touch this. You know what I'm saying? As Iala. What I'm saying is, as the producers of that show, as the host of that show, I probably would have said, 10 months, that's kind of like too close for comfort. I'm not even going to touch this right now. You know what I'm saying? Not to put it on TV and all like that. I probably would have, you know, said no and suggested that they go on and do other kind of counseling and therapy before I said, yes, I would show this on TV. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I know one thing. I really do. You know, I'm a big Sherry Shepherd fan. So, the Carlina White story, I watch the movie like almost every time it's on TV. So I was happy to see her and to see how she has grown and how she's doing and how she has matured and made it through her situation. She looked really good. She was a beautiful girl. And she was talking about how, you know, when she was processing, she had to just be alone. Like she didn't want to be around anybody. And again, see, she had a baby. She had a baby young, so she's processing this stuff while she's trying to raise a baby. So you're thinking about all this stuff that happened in your childhood that while it was happening was no big deal, and then you find out it was all a lie, and then you're trying to protect your child from a situation that your child is not even going through because it's so fresh in your. It's so difficult. It's so difficult, all because of, you know, the deception. Now,
the deception and decision that somebody made, and it wasn't made, and the decision that somebody made not for you. You know, they didn't make that decision to benefit you. It's not like they took you out of a home that was abusive and then they decided to raise you. No, they snatched you away from your parents and for their own selfish reasons. You know, with when you watch that movie with Sherry Shepherd and with Keke Palmer, she did that based off of the fact that she couldn't have kids.
Right. Well, she had miscarriages. She had like 3 miscarriages.
She kept having miscarriages, and it was like, you know, I'm going to have a baby.
Right. She could have had. I also believe that she may have, and I don't know the backstory of this woman that snatched the other girl, but when I see the movie, I kind of think that when she had the 3 miscarriages or whatever, you know, because you still go through the hormonal stuff. You know, so she could have had some, like there's a postpartum depression and there's a postpartum psychosis, you know, whatever. Right. So she could have been going through some stuff like that and just been really stuck in her, like she was obsessing of it, and she really couldn't help it. Like she really could have been. Now that's another point though, because Carlina, she raised her, as a regular mom, and she didn't have a bad life or whatever. She struggled like every other single parent. And this other young lady, her mom raised her well, and they looked like they had good times and everything. And does that it doesn't make their act any less criminal.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, thank goodness that they weren't abused and they weren't in a bad situation or whatever, but it doesn't make their act any less criminal. So I could see how some people were like, oh, well, she ain't hurt her or nothing, so, oh, well, no, you're a criminal.
No, exactly. And what really like took me is because what really pissed me off more so when we're talking about being a criminal, what pissed me off with the birth mother is because a lot of people's children get snatched and they never see their kids again.
Ever.
They never see their kids again. Their kids end up dead. They got to identify their children's body. You have another chance to be in this child's life. Wasn't harmed. The mental effects are going to harm her probably for the rest of her life, But she wasn't physically harmed. You still can see your child. You can still be a part of your child's life. You can still build a bond with your child. And for you to be that selfish, And you
can see your grandbabies. You can see your grandbabies be born.
Exactly. And
you have a lot of opportunities.
Relationship with them.
Exactly.
I mean, and I just feel like after I watched that show, I had so many emotions, but I was a large part of me was just I was angry because I'm like, how dare you? And I don't know how it feels. I didn't get a child snatched from me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't raise somebody else's child. So I don't know how it feels. But how dare you? This woman, she is a criminal. 100%.
She's a criminal.
But she still raised this child, and this child has a bond with her, and she's going to be a part of her life. That's like people we know every day, criminals. You know what I'm saying? Are they bad people, or did they do bad things? Sure. Sure they did. But we still love them, They are cousins, brothers, uncles, aunts, sisters. You know what I'm saying? You name it. We still love them, criminal or no criminal. And I mean, that's like, all criminals aren't bad people per se. No, they're not.
You commit a criminal act, but it doesn't make you a bad person per se. And that's true. That is very true. However, I just like, the kidnappers, they get something like 12 years in prison. And I'm like, 12 years in prison, I'm not dead. So I'm not dead. But my whole life, you messed it up.
Right.
I don't know if 12 years is, I don't know. I don't want to say like long enough. Yeah, I mean, because it's not like I know the punishment should fit the crime and stuff like that, but how much time is ruining my life worth? You know what I mean? Like, how much time is ruining my life worth? I don't, and is she still going to be, because it happens sometimes that, even if they, what is it called, Stockholm Syndrome? Where the people are kidnapped.
That's what they're saying that she has, where people are kidnapped. Or not, you don't have to necessarily be kidnapped. It could be with anything. You start taking on the life of your abuser. It's not only just kidnapped. It's even if a person is being abused and you are believing what they're saying, you believe in them. You take on. Excuse me. You take on the abuse. You think that it's okay. It's not just with kidnappers. It's with anything. Stockholm Syndrome can be with anything. Because look at, what's his name? Marlon Manson. Is that his name? The serial killer?
Charles Manson?
Charles Manson. Oh, Marlon Manson is the rock artist or whatever. Okay, my bad.
Right, yes.
Charles, I don't keep up with the whites like that. But the Charles Manson, his people, he didn't kidnap them. He just brought them on and took them on a killing spree. But they developed Stockholm Syndrome in believing in what it was that he was doing. You know, they believed in him. So I'm saying Stockholm Syndrome could be a number of things, not just based off of kidnapping. But anyway, you were saying, I'm sorry.
That she, but it doesn't always last forever.
Right.
Sometimes Stockholm Syndrome is very temporary until they get adjusted to their, the absence of the abuse or the absence of the capture or the absence, so it doesn't go on forever. So for her mom, that's her biological mother.
Hers might because
it may.
She's probably going to have. Do you think that when that lady gets out of jail, that girl ain't gonna be there? And when that lady gets out of jail, that she's not going to still have a relationship with her mom, whether she building a relationship with her birth parents or not. That's that girl's mother. Whether or not she knows now that she's kidnapped or not, that's her mother. It's nothing on that show. We only have to go off of what we seen in the show, right? We don't know her. We don't even know. Like you said, it was no closure to the end of the show. So we don't know, right? But nothing in that show, in the time that she was on that show, gave any kind of indication that she would not still be in that mother's life. She's still posting pictures of her on the Facebook, which is the reason why the birth mother blocked her. So it's nothing that she said.
It's only 10 months. It's only 10 months.
I understand.
And she's 19.
I understand that she's 19. It's only 10 months. All I'm saying is I would be interested even to see if Carlita White still had a relationship with her kidnapper, with her kidnapped mother. I would be very interested in knowing. I'm going to have to look that up to see if she still has any kind of relationship with her, because 10 months out and in 19, that girl is still going to have a relationship with that woman. She still got a relationship with her now.
Which one still has? The 19-year-old?
She still has a relationship. The 19-year-old Kamaya
I know.
still has a relationship with. Kamaya is her birth name. Alexis is what she was raised as.
Right.
Kamaya still has a relationship with the woman who kidnapped her.
Right. I'm not surprised. Mother. I'm not surprised. It's only been a year or so, and she's in prison. She went to the trial, all that kind of stuff. I'm not surprised. All I'm saying is, as time progresses, now I think Carlina might still have a relationship with the woman who abducted her, because that mother also had a relationship with her baby.
With her baby, yeah.
Right. And so the baby is innocent in that, but sometimes things happen, and I think it takes some time with the absence of that thing that you felt so connected to.
Let me ask you
sometimes
something.
It takes time.
Let me ask you something. In your own situation, again, you weren't kidnapped, but in your own situation and the deception that you had in your own family, do you still have a relationship with both people?
I do. Right. I do. And
again, your situation is not the same because you were not kidnapped. It wasn't like you were raised by somebody else, kidnapped and raised by someone else. You know what I'm saying? You were raised by somebody else.
I still feel a lot, I still feel a lot of things that I felt as a child, and I just thought it was strange. I just thought it was strange. Like, why do I feel this way? Why, I just thought some things were strange. But you really don't, you're a kid. You don't really realize, what's going on. When I learned what happened, I was kind of relieved, because at first, I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm not a weirdo.
I don't feel right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not a weirdo.
Okay, right.
Right.
I'm not a weirdo. You find out that you're not a weirdo, you be like, yes, okay, all right, okay,
right.
And
And
I was worried there for a minute.
you know, and I think like one day I really would like to just, you know, get it all out because, you know, just for the sake of the process, you know what I mean? However, my situation is also different because my dads know each other and get along. You know, her parents ain't all getting together and getting along. That ain't ever going to happen. She was a criminal. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not like, you know, I don't have to be torn on holidays or birthdays or, you know, I don't have to be torn with his grandchildren. I don't have any of those issues because it is what it is, you know, but it does affect you. It really does. It's like, and I had to stop being angry because it was easy for me in the beginning to be angry at one, and then I felt like, oh, well, if I'm going to be angry at this one, I'm like, I'll be angry at this one too because, you know, it was in cahoots. But then it was like, oh, but if you angry at them, then you got to be angry with your mom, and I was not going to be angry with my mom, and that's when I let it go.
Oh.
Because I would not. I mean, I'm not going to be mad at my mom ever. That's my mom. You know, but everybody knew. And, you know, so if you're going to, and I think that when I gave up to being angry and, you know, all right. So,
well, you're good at that, too. You're good at
the
that.
forgiving thing?
You're good at what? Is that what we're calling it? Forgiving? Okay.
This is definitely forgiving. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're good at forgiving. I mean, we all can't be as forgiving as you. We're working. Yeah. Some of us are still working on it. But, yes, you're very good at forgiving. You're very good at not necessarily just like forgetting, but definitely at forgiving. Let me tell you. You got that thing down packed. Because there's some stuff. Let me tell you. It's some stuff that I know about you that I'm like, I would never forgive that person. And you're like, well, you know, you have to. I'm like, let me tell you something. Jesus be a fence all around me because I got to really work on that thing because I don't even forgive some of the people that did some stuff to you, and they ain't even do it to me.
I mean, it's not about, like, first of all, I don't like being angry. That's one. So it's easier for me to forgive. And, you know what, I feel like everybody, you know, what goes around comes around. Everybody, like, not that I wish bad on anybody or whatever, but you're not going to put a cancer in me. You're just not going to do it. I'm going to be happy, you know. So, but I mean, I like who I am now, and I learn me. I know the nurture me, and I now I know the nature me, you know. So the nurture me was. And I know, like, when I do things, that's the nurture me, things that I was taught. Things that I mimic, like even out of, you know, not because, you know, I wanted to, but that's just how I am because that's what I grew up in. It was my nurture. But then when I was just a certain way, and then when I met the nature me, I'm like, oh, well, look at that, you know. So I really hope for. What's the girl's name again? Because I keep wanting to say Alexis, but she didn't want Kamaya. She didn't want Alexis.
I even thought that was something that she was raised as Alexis all her life. She was, you know, she still have a relationship with this woman who raised her, who kidnapped her. But then she was like, I don't want to be referred to as Alexis. I want to be referred to as Kamaya.
Because it's a lie. Alexis is a lie.
Yeah.
Alexis is a lie, and she wants to know Kamaya. See, she wants to know Kamaya.
Know Kamaya though.
If she, I surely know Bibbi. You know, yes. And when you get to learn those things, and I hope that her parents can get past this so that she can get to learn who she is. And it's not something that you sit down and talk over dinner. She's never going to be able to. No, because it's something you have to spend time. It's not something that they're going to sit down and teach you or you're going to have dinner and learn. It's something that you experience, like as you spend time, as you grow, as the relationship blossoms and, you know, things like that. It's, you know, I want that for her. I want that for anyone who doesn't know who they are. And I think about that all the time, and it's something I'm always grateful. I say it in my prayers like all the time. Like, Lord, I am so grateful for the opportunity to get to learn who I am.
Mhm.
I'm so grateful for that because I didn't realize, first, I thought I was a weirdo, and then you don't realize how confused you are until the confusion starts to unravel. Like, pieces start to fall into this puzzle. You be like, oh, my goodness, you know what?
Right.
That's fabulous.
Not to toot my own horn, but
beep.
Just when I thought I was a weirdo, beep.
Right. So, and I really desire that for Kamaya to, get to know who she is, because it's important. And it's whether she keeps the relationship with her abductor or not, it's still important to know who you are. And and that's why she goes by Kamaya.
Kamaya. Yeah, and I hope her parents can give that to her.
Right, yeah. And that's for them. And that's what I'm saying. I really wish, like, Iyanla would have, like, focused, like, the dad was there. She could have focused, like, she could have said, instead of saying, I need to make her real angry or whatever, I think that she should have just was like, you know what, she's not ready. When she knew that she wasn't ready, she could have focused on the dad and let the girls just hang around and spend time with her boyfriend or something. She could have focused, like, how can I be of service to you, Dad? You know what I mean?
And how can
or
I be
something like that, because he's
said,
ready and he's hungry. Right, he's hungry for it. He wants, like, whatever you can do to help me have this. This is my baby. I got her back. Now what you do? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that would have been a better way to go.
Even if the mother would have came on there, though, and Kamaya wouldn't have been on there because, like you said, she wasn't ready. The mother is not. The mother. I wish the mom would have came on there, because the mother is. She wants the relationship with the dad. Remember when the dad was like, "Oh, she's mad because she thought me and her was going to work out." So she just got issues all the way around. She got issues with the fact that the man then moved on and got a woman, and she got issues with the child having, a relationship. She want everything her way, clearly.
And I wonder how that affects her three other.
Mother.
I wonder how that affects her 3 other children.
Oh, she had other kids?
Yes, she has 3 other children.
By that man?
I don't know. I don't think they're by him, but they said she has 3 other children.
They must have said that in the first 2 minutes that I missed, because I don't remember that.
Yeah, she has other children. And I wonder how that affects them to be in this, I don't know, because it's like, I'm here and you don't love me. Like, what, what I mean? And if they don't have the same dad, oh, you ain't like my dad. I don't know, 'cause, but I don't know. But I think that, like when Iyanla did the special on the men with multiple children by multiple women, and how it kind of went on, and she did a little special around it. I don't know. I think this, parental deception, and it comes in all kinds of forms. I think that's something that really has, when we look at people, that stuff it affects you forever. Forever. Even after you forgive and you think you're over it and stuff like that, some things kind of, still happen. They come into play and things like that. I said one day I'm going to write a book, but then I saw the Carlina White story and I said, that's interesting too. But, you
write a book from your perspective of what happened to you and how it affects you and your relationship, moving forward in your life, even though you forgave, but the way that you deal with people, and especially men, because it's your father. You know what I'm saying? So especially the way that you intentionally deceptive. So especially, every time I hear that, I think of you, because you're like, you're just deceptive, and I'm like, intentionally deceptive. Yeah.
And I think that
you write a book on your,
I think that first all the time.
What?
I think that first. Don't like when I meet somebody, I'm always looking for the deception. I'm always looking for it. Right.
You are.
Always.
It's very draining. Let me tell you.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, I understand. I have to get out of my own, like, oh my gosh, she's draining me, and then I have to get to, okay, I understand why, and then we, then we can move on. Because at first, you're my cousin, so I'm gonna tell you, it drains me. It drains.
You love me anyway.
I know. Jeez, let me tell you. But wow, we spent a long time talking about Fix My Life. I didn't know that it was going to go into this. This is another episode that never was. Another topic that never was.
every time you have these heavy who did some shit, I mean, clearly.
Listen, this is stuff that we need to talk about. This parental deception, as you call it, is important. It's important to explore. It's important to talk about. You don't know how many people are going through this. Just like the whole thing with this girl. Like I said, when I first saw this, I thought that Kamaya was Carlita. So I'm like, is her name Carlita or Carlina? Because
Carlina with an N, not a C.
Okay, Carlina. Okay, so just like that, I thought that it was, the same story. Who knew that it happened again? So how many other children are being kidnapped? And we know a multitude of children are being kidnapped. How many of them are being kidnapped and raised and then going through this thing? Because that story was almost identical, in the sense that they were kidnapped at birth, raised by someone, went to go try to get something and needed a birth certificate or a Social Security card or both, and they couldn't produce it. It's the same story. How many other stories like this are out there? How many other people are being deceived, by their parents like you were, with your fathers? It's happening. So it's definitely something very important to talk about.
I think it's important, and clearly it's happening a lot because, we got all of these TV shows about it now and everything. And then how many parents who abducted children and playing better and took the birth certificate and Social Security card with them, so then the kids turn 18 and they still don't know.
Well, how would you go about doing that? I mean, I don't have kids, so I don't know how it is when you're in the hospital. Do they bring the birth certificate to your room? Do they email it to you because it's high tech now? How would you go about getting the Social Security and the birth certificate? You would have to get the birth certificate before you were able to get the Social Security card if we're talking about planning better.
Well, I think it all starts with a crib card. It starts with a crib card. You file for the birth certificate in the hospital, but when you go pick it up, when you have a crib card, the card from the crib. I mean, if you could take a baby from the hospital, you can certainly take the crib card. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor or nothing. I ain't trying to teach no class.
Exactly. It just seems like it's so easy to walk in and take somebody's child, like right out of the nursery.
Well, not now because they have all these things in place. I know when I had my children, they have the little, as soon as the baby comes out, the mom, the dad, and the baby get a bracelet, even without, it says like Baby Davis or whatever, and has the code number and all that kind of stuff on it. So, and then the babies have alarms on their ankles. So if they leave the unit, the alarm goes off.
Okay, good. Because and
this was a while ago, so I'm sure they're even more high tech now.
Yeah. Let's just pray. I just want to just keep that child in prayer that she's able to, go forward with her life and forgive as you have and lead a productive life and get the help that she really needs, because I think that whole situation was outside of Iyanla Vanzant's realm, as far as she just needed some intense therapy that wasn't shoved into an hour of television.
Right. And the parents too.
Yeah,
and
they all
do.
Too. And the mother that's in jail too. She's not. I mean, the one that's in prison.
Exactly.
She's not going to get the help that she needs while she's in prison because we all know if we don't know, we should know that prison is no rehabilitation center. That's for sure. Like they like to claim it is. So hopefully when she gets out, she gets the help that she needs too, because she needs it. Clearly.
Well, she's definitely, behaved criminally. But, another thing is that, and I believe this to be true, like, even if you watch some of the, like I watch Paternity Court sometimes, and I like Paternity Court because it's not like that trashy Maury stuff, but it's usually like older. It's like, Maury. I watch, if I'm home or whatever, I might watch Maury too, and like sometimes it's entertaining, but like you is a dad,
so
you
that's
is a
obviously about my character.
But it's not. But the thing I like about Paternity Court,
but I would go ahead.
The thing I like about Paternity Court is it's not like the super ratchet stuff all the time, but some of it is how they have older people like. I was told that this person was my dad my whole life, and, he died, and now I'm 37, and my siblings don't accept me, these kind of things. Because when you have people who are not children, but when you grow up and you don't, not having that information, not knowing who you are, stunts your growth. It stunts your growth through life. And, when I was saying it to my mom, she was like, oh, you're so dramatic or whatever. And I was just looking at her like, you know what I mean? You know what I could have been? You know what I mean? It stunts when you don't know who you are. It stunts your growth. And if you really have moved on, if you're really all right with it, you don't go searching for the person. But every person in their human nature wants to know who they are. So it doesn't. So, and a lot of them had fathers or mothers that raised them, and they weren't the biological parent. And but they still want to know who they are. It doesn't take away from who raised them. And I'm talking about the ones that didn't behave criminally. It doesn't take away from who raised them. But I just don't understand how these people get on there, and the mothers do it and fathers, and they raise these children their whole life and be like, I don't know, I just never felt a bond with them. I don't know. Because that to me is crazy, because a child is innocent, and love begets love. It's just how it is in the world. If you love me, I'm going to love you back, because love begets love. It's just the act of the universe. It's just how it is. So if you're being a parent, it doesn't matter if it's your kid or not. Like, people love their damn dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? And your kid loves this baby. Exactly. So, love begets love. So that girl, Kamaya, she felt loved by the woman who adopted. And that's why, and so she's going to feel that. She feels loved. And the love that she gave her, it begot love. And so, the love is never going to go away. She can be angry. She can go through a myriad of emotions, but love begets love. And she loves that woman. And that woman, crazy as she might be, she loves her.
Loves her.
Right. So, yeah, but I really do hope that she gets the opportunity to learn who she is. And I will also say this one last thing. I know we've talked about having a show where we talk about the 3 worst things that ever happened to you in your life and what you learned from them. I will say that even though it was bad, this parental deception is not in my top 3. It's not.
Damn.
I know.
Well, you know what? I mean, I don't want to say damn, like, damn, you had a hard-ass life. That ain't in your top 3. What else could be worse than that? But, it's like 3 worst things. This is not one of them. I mean, that's going to make for an interesting show. But you know what? Look at you now. You moved on from those 3 worst things. But we'll dive into that on another show. Listen, once again, we're off topic, but it happens like that sometimes, and it's okay, because this was just as important. And we'll tackle I Am Not My Hair on next week. So before we go, you want to get into your personal journals this week?
Oh, my personal journal. Sure. And my personal journal this week is love. And I know I'm feeling some kind of way because spring is in the air, and I really can't help it. I get like TV giddy. I am so excited. And I feel like loving. And I do. I feel like loving. I feel like, and I'm not just saying this, even though I think it started like a couple of days, like we had this snowstorm, and I was like, man, I think I need to get me one of them husband things. But I didn't have to shovel, so I was like, oh, all right, I'll be all right. But
had one of those. I'm good. Thanks.
Right. So but I feel like love, and I know I get like this in spring. But there's something about new life that just excites me. It's something that excites me. So I am looking forward to doing something new in love. Now, I don't know if it's a relationship. I don't know if I'm going to go out on a date. I don't know if I'm going to rent a van and pick up my nieces and nephews and take them to, well, clearly not Chuck E. Cheese because they didn't had a fight at a Chuck E. Cheese show.
Oh, did you hear about that? Oh, my
terrible.
Goodness. 2 people that got stabbed at Chuck E. Cheese. I said, that's Chuck E. Cheese. Crazy. And you know, I used to work at Chuck E. Cheese, so I'm like, they up in there and just doing Chucky wrong. But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt your personal journal. That was
crazy. Right. So I don't know, maybe Great Wolf Lodge or something, but whatever it is, I just feel I'm always loving, but I feel an act of love coming on. So, and that's my personal journal. It's about to be spring. It's a time for new life. Things are blossoming. You know, things that we planted in the winter are about to come up. You know what I mean? I'm just very, very excited. So there's about to be a big old something with love. I don't know what it is, but I'm excited about it.
I'm excited for you. Keep me posted, child, on what's going on with the love in your life.
Something is about to happen.
Yeah.
I'm
feeling it too.
Yeah. Oh, you found a boyfriend?
No, I didn't. Let me tell you, this is not my personal journal, but the fact that you brought up did you find a boyfriend thing? Remember a couple of episodes ago, because I can't remember what I did yesterday, so I surely don't remember what episode it is, and we only on episode 11. But I was talking about being intentional. And I was going to be really intentional on, dating and not having casual relationships and everything. And then I was dating somebody, and I was trying to be intentional with it. That ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show. But let's just say I'm still I'm trying to get my boyfriend hunt. I'll let y'all know how it's going. It ain't, I don't know what's going on with it right now. But again, as Bibbi stated, it's about to be spring. Maybe something new is blossoming in my life. We'll see what happens. Okay? But let's say what my personal journal is for this week. From week to week, I never know what I'm going to say as far as my personal journal is concerned. It just hits me like a ton of bricks, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. So I'm on this challenge, a weight loss challenge. I go to my trainer for small classes 3 times a week and work out because I'm trying to, health is wealth. So I'm trying to be, how I hate it, but I'm trying to just be all about it and be in my healthy kick thing. It hasn't been going so good because I've been doing so much with the move for work, traveling back and forth home, and so my challenge has sucked. So my personal journal is I'm going back on the challenge. The challenge is over at the end of the month, but it hasn't been going so hot, and it's for 90 days. So I have another 90 days that I have tacked on to the end of this challenge because I got to get it together. I really have to get it together. And I'm not my 600-pound life or anything, but what I have going on right now is what I don't want to have going on. I just want to be able to be comfortable in the skin that I am. And I am. I mean, it's not like I'm like huge, but I want to be comfortable for me. So that's what I'm doing. And every week we have these Zoom calls, right? Mm-hmm. And on this week's Zoom calls, the girl was from Keyline, and she started this whole organization based off of the fact that she had Lyme disease. And she didn't know that she had Lyme disease. She didn't know what was going on, but she just knows that she kept getting sick. And not like a cold sick, but like sick, you know. And the doctors could not figure out what was going on with her. They misdiagnosed her several times. And then finally she went to a therapist. And a therapist was the person who said, maybe you should get tested for Lyme disease. So she did, and she ended up right, exactly. So she ended up finding out that she had Lyme disease, and she started learning all of these things about Lyme disease, because Lyme disease is one of those things where you don't really know a whole lot about it. It's not really out there. It's not really talked about a whole lot. So, and it makes you experience all of these different things, migraines, and you're like sick, you just all kinds of stuff, right? She was telling us. But one of the things that she talked about a lot was stress, how stress flared up the Lyme disease. And so she was telling us that, what we needed to do. Take 15 minutes in the morning and journal or meditate, or just take some deep breaths and lay still, whatever that you could do to try to position your mind into the fact that you are calm and that you won't, or that you are trying not to experience stress for that day. And she talked about the diet and the exercise, and it just made me realize, when I was listening to her on the call, it made me realize, you know what, stop playing around. Your challenge hasn't gone so good. Don't beat yourself up. Just go ahead, move forward, give yourself another 90 days to jumpstart your life. Because, we talked about it before. Diet and exercise is not a right now thing. It's a lifestyle change. So that's what I want to do. So that's my personal journal. I said all of that rambling to say that I'm giving myself another 90 days for my challenge, and I'm going to really kick this thing into gear and get myself healthy and, again, comfortable in the skin that I'm in.
Okay. Amen. Amen. Yeah. I mean, it's good skin. You come from good stock. But, no need to stress. God got us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a good personal journal.
Yeah, I think so. And I'll let you guys know how it goes. Keep me in prayers always that these next 90 days, to the end of this month, and the next 90 days are successful as far as my challenge and my, eating to live and not living to eat. Okay?
That's right. Because, we got trips to take.
Exactly. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what I'm really worried about. I'm trying to get to a certain weight so when I go on these trips this summer, I can eat what I want to eat. I mean, I don't even know why I'm beating around the bush. That's what it really boils down to. I'm doing all of this so I can eat. And it's really what it boils down to. Yeah, you got anything else?
Not till next week.
Okay. Well, listen, next we're going to get out of here. And next week, again, we're going to go ahead and tackle our topic of I Am Not My Hair. Sorry we didn't get to it this week, but we hope that you enjoyed the episode nonetheless. Think back to the episode that never was. Here we are again. So listen, follow us. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. Remember, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. Like, subscribe to the show, comment. We need you guys to hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the show, like the show. Let us know what you think about the show. Leave us a comment. It really helps us out when you rate the show and when you comment on the show. So, again, we could be found on all social media platforms at We Did That Shit. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We Did That Shit. Also, if you have something that you want to say about the show, you're liking the show, you're not liking the show, you want to hear us talk about something specific, send us an email. We could be reached at wedidthatshit@gmail.com. That's wedidthatshit@gmail.com. I could be found on Twitter at MyMy13. That's MYMY13.
And I'm at Bibbi Amina. That's BIBBIAMINA.
Yeah, so follow us both, and we'll be here again, same time next week.
Remember, be great this week. Do that shit.
We Did That Shit podcast is produced and edited by Selena Singleton and brought to you by Wonderful Me Media. Wonderful Me Media. What's wonderful about you?